to the Art of Conversation. It's your girl Alicia C. And we out here recording live. Yo. Happy Friday, everyone. Good morning. I hope you're feeling fantastic this Friday. Yes, the weekend is here. I feel like I say that so frequently because I feel like as soon as the weekend comes, it's a new week. And then here we are at the end of the week and it's a new, what? Like, I didn't even fully process last week. Like, last week came and left already? What? When did this week get here? What? You know, I thought last year went fast and the year before that, but it seems like every year that progresses, it kicks it up a notch. It just speeds up. And I say that, I find myself saying that very frequently because it's noticeable. Like, what is the rush? Like, time is just flying. Like, I guess the world is in a rush to end. They sick and tired of our shit. Sick and tired of you. It just shows you to spend your time wisely and use your time effectively. We don't got time and money to waste out here. We don't. So make sure you spend it on the right things. The title of today's episode is Peer Pressure. How often we hear this topic. Don't make people tell you to do something that you don't want to do. Don't make people force you to do something you don't really want to do. Peer pressure. It can be defined as the influence exerted by a group or individuals within that group to conform to their values, their beliefs, and their behaviors. I think we have to take into consideration the age range when peer pressure is at its highest. We've heard and experienced this during our youth days. Either you've done something as a result of peer pressure or you pressured someone to do something. Either or, what was the outcome? Was there a reason? If you did it, did you get hurt? Did you tell a parent, sibling, friend? Were you embarrassed? Did you get in any kind of trouble? Did that person get hurt? Were they embarrassed? Were they in trouble? Did your parents speak to you about the topic itself? Meaning, during your adolescence or your youth days, did you have a parent, teacher, older sibling of any sort that sat you down and talked to you about what peer pressure is, what it looks like, the dangers, why you should and should not? Just a few questions to throw out there. Self-reflect. According to Lawrence Steinberg, a psychology professor at Temple University, he states peer influence during adolescence is normal, and it tends to peak around age 15, then decline. Teens get better at setting boundaries with peers by age 18. He says that people find it hard to resist peer pressure because they're afraid of losing their friends, or being left on their own, or even of letting people down. But they can also struggle because they just simply don't know how to get out of the situation gracefully. I think some key skills with that is really developing and learning how to set and stand on strong boundaries. This is an absolute not. This is an absolute maybe. I guess depending on the severity, right? You have to develop those skills and know yourself and care enough for yourself to not be influenced and to know what's right and good for you and what's not. And you can't let an external factor change that. So if you know something can hurt you, harm you, and you don't feel right, but your best friend for years is telling you to do it, come on, you be the coolest on the earth, the coolest ever, like you go down in history as being the coolest. I mean, with or without doing this dare, I'm still the coolest. Yeah, right? Still the coolest. But yeah, no, why don't you do it? All of a sudden it goes quiet. You hear feathers falling on the floor. It's so funny how in some cases people can peer pressure you or dare you to do something that they would never do themselves. And that's what makes peer pressure so dangerous. That's why you have to be so strong and you're not easily shaken. Because I've seen it. you had people, oh, I dare you, come on, you being a wimp, da 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 da. And the person you can see really don't want to do it, but they don't want to go through, oh, that's that kid that got dared to do this and he was too scared, da 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 da. Let's do it together then, since you about it. It can go that deep. It can get that serious. We see it all over the place. When has that not been a thing? But again, there's levels to its severity. So let's discuss the tragedy involving Cameron Robbins, the 18-year-old male that died in the Bahamas after jumping off the cruise ship he was on into the ocean. So Cameron Robbins was a high school graduate who went on a cruise ship and was dared by another pair to jump. And he did it. He did it. Now, this story is weird because of the how. The how, right? So, first of all, there's stories stating that someone dared him to jump off into the water. Boom. In the video that's circulating, there's him in the water, and you hear, everyone else on the ship, grab the buoy, oh, this kid just jumped. So there's some evidence showing that, okay, he it sounds like a choice that he made and he jumped. But then on the flip side, you hear different stories about, well, we don't know what happened. Did he fall overboard? Did someone push him? We don't know how he got in the water. They just said it. He jumped. And then on the other flip side, oh, it's shark infested that ocean. We don't know if a shark attacked him and you know what? Or if he just drowned or this, da, 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 da. He just disappeared. I don't know how many of you guys have seen the video that circulated. It's been all over the news, all over social media. It's been this big thing for the past, I guess, couple days to a week and some change. And in the video, you can see where he's in the water trying to swim. And you can also kind of, see and pick up that it was at that moment that he knew he fucked up. The choice that he made, stupid. He's probably in that water. How many of you went out to the ocean at night or been on a cruise or a boat at night? The dark skies. How dark the ocean water can look and be at night. And then you're in the water. You didn't realize, how am I going to get back up here? How? So you're in this water. You're next to a ship. Tall, and the shadow from the ship reflects into the already dark water and the skies. He probably already just accepted his fate. He had to have known, how am I gonna get out of this? What did I get myself into? I didn't think before taking on and accepting this dare. So they tossed the buoy out to him, and you can see where they tossed it very close to the ship. I don't even feel like that was a very smart toss. But nevertheless, they tossed it. He tried to take his time and swim back over, and then he swam the other way. In the water now, myself, it looks like a shark. Some people say that it was like the wave that crashed when they threw the buoy. It kind of, triggered like a crash of water and movement in the water. So that's what, got picked up on the camera. Oh, it's not a shark, it's a wave. But, from me looking at the video, my own personal self, it looks like a shark. Not that big, but it's a shark. And you see him swimming towards the buoy. He must have spotted it and started swimming in the opposite direction, because why would he swim in the opposite direction unless he saw something? Or the waves started to, you don't know what direction the waves were crashing and, what direction they were in. So you don't know if he's swimming against it. We don't really know. This is just based off of a very minimal video. Few seconds. Now you see him, now you don't. But as he's swimming away, he kind of turns back around and kind of pauses, and then from there you kind of see him sink. You can see him like slowly like traveling closer towards the ship. It kind of like just going down, and it was so quick, he just disappeared. Now, some question if he drowned, if he got caught up in the propellers of the ship. Did a shark get him? Shark, this, that, whatever. They don't know. We don't know. He disappeared. They did a search for 3 days. They decided to stop because there were no signs of finding him. No parts, no him, no articles of clothing, nothing. So I think it's safe to say what happened here, right? Whether it was sharks, or he got pulled by the waves under the propellers of the ship, plus the ocean night waves itself, there was no way. R.I.P. nevertheless. It's sad. In the video, you hear everyone shouting at him, oh, this kid jumped, oh, grab the buoy, grab the buoy. And then you hear the person recording him say, bye-bye, as he swam off. How heartless is that? I think people were probably shocked by the fact that he actually jumped. In some releases, people believe, again, he fell overboard. I think that they just don't want to admit the fact that he made a stupid choice, and they want to brush it under the rug. Because most people would say, who in the hell would do something like that? He jumped because he was dared. And he may have been intoxicated, which also screwed with his sense of judgment. He was irresponsible for going along with the dare, doing the dare, and the person who dared him should be feeling some type of way right now. Why dare him to do that, of all things? Yes, I know you think, oh, I didn't think he would actually do it. We were just joking, But why come up with that type of dare, though? Where was his friends? Was this a friend? Could it be a friend who put your life in danger like that? Joke or no joke, and whether you thought he would do it or not, look at the outcome. He did it. And that's the thing about peer pressure. Well, if you knew it wasn't a good choice, why'd you do it? Why'd you come up with this anyway? Not everyone has tough skin. Some people will fall into it and get influenced just to feel like they have to show something. I think we can agree with that. But why would you put yourself in danger? If someone dared you to jump off the ship into the ocean, would you do it? And that's the funny thing about some people who peer pressure others. It's like you're daring and pressuring someone to do something that you yourself would never ever do. But you want to see someone else do it. Those are dangerous people to be around. Sorry. I guess we can all agree that his behavior was affected by drink and peer pressure. Whew. Horrible way to die, man. I'm sure he was petrified in that water. He didn't think clearly. But again, if they were drinking, his judgment was skewed. R.I.P. to him, nevertheless. We've all done stupid things during our youth years, so none of us can judge. But it opens your eyes that it could get that serious. It could get that serious. It can go that deep. You do have people who will take on your challenges to prove like they don't back down. And that's ego. You ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. Walk away. Oh, you're not gonna do it, then you're a wuss, you're a wimp. Okay. You do it first. You do it first. Let me see. Then maybe I'll consider. You do it first. Go ahead. You ain't gonna do it? Oh, okay. But I should do it? Bye. See ya. Okay, look, let's hold hands. Let's do it together. You still not up for that? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. But I'm supposed to do it? Get your ass out my face. If you could tell a youth about peer pressure, what would you tell them? We low-key see the government doing a more evolved version of peer pressure, don't we? We call it social media. Let's think about the TikTok challenges, social media trends, peer pressure, all of that. Dangerous combination for children. Not all, but many. People misuse social media to influence a certain age range. Look at some of the things we've seen and heard. The challenges, the blackout challenge, where they encourage individuals to hold their breath until they pass out. It's a retarded challenge. That's stupid. And there have been stories where children were found dead or hanging dead in their room as a result of trying the challenge. Or how about the Tide Pod challenge, which individuals are dared to intentionally consume Tide Pods. Pods, Tide Pods you throw in your washing machines. Or how about the milk crate challenge, where individuals stack milk crates, the crates that they used to have in schools that carried the milk cartons, those, and try to climb them without falling. Imagine how many ribs and necks were or could have been broken. Then we got the dry scooping challenge. It's a TikTok challenge where users put a scoop of protein or pre-workout powder straight in their mouth without diluting it in water or milk. It's like, who's coming up with this stuff? You're just pulling shit out of your ass at this point. Like, well, what? For what? Clout, attention, approval, like, subscribe, view, what? Comment? Whatever it is, it's not worth it. Like, there's so many examples, there's so many video challenges, and most of them often target youth. And if that's the case, then you're bringing them harm and sometimes death. Talk It Out provides us with the following types of peer pressure. We got spoken peer pressure, which is a teenager who acts, suggests, persuades, or otherwise directs another to engage in a specific behavior. We got unspoken peer pressure, which is when a teenager is exposed to the actions of one or more peers and is left to choose whether they want to follow along or not. Direct peer pressure is normally behavioral centric. Examples include a teenager handing another teenager an alcoholic drink or a joint. We got indirect peer pressure, which is subtle and it can still exert a strong influence on an impressionable young person. So when a teen overhears a friend gossiping about another person and then reacts to the gossip, that is indirect peer pressure. We got negative peer pressure, which is asking a young teenager to engage in behavior that is against their moral code or family values. Lastly, we got positive peer pressure, which is an example of including a peer group that wants to make good grades and positively influences young teens to study or get tutoring, things of that nature. So do we see peer pressure with adults? And what does that look like? Because they're not off limits. Nobody is. It's just at its highest during youth, adolescence. But what happens with the adults? Well, as an adult, pressure from peers might cause you to feel like you have to keep up with the lifestyle, with the Jones. You're pressured into a lifestyle that isn't authentically yours. We see that a lot, especially with the help of social media, people doing things to impress or keep up with others. You are biting off of everyone else and taking on their life and personality, and it's not yours to improve, impress, and tell people. You know what I'm saying? We see that a lot. I always say that the world lacks originality. Every little thing a celebrity or someone does or comes out or says, or the way they wear it or hairstyle, something, you just see the vast majority doing the same thing. Who said that's gonna look right on you? Who said you got the head shape? Now, if you like it, you can do whatever you want. If that's your choice. But if you're doing it because you want to keep up with what everyone else says and does, where's your sense of identity? And listen, I know a few people like that, and it's sad to see. And they were in denial, so it's not like you can say anything. It would have been a waste of time and breath, because then they're going to say, oh, no, this is me and we just happen to, but you know better, so you don't even waste your time. Adults and peer pressure could be something relatively small, harmless, something so small as to overspending money that you budgeted on a shopping trip with your friends or family, or behaving in an unkind way by ostracizing someone at work, or more dangerous behavior like drinking too much and then driving home or doing drugs. Starts off small like that. If you really want to kick it up a notch, can we consider peer pressure as a form of manipulation? Is it safe to say that? Is it? Influences, right? If we're talking about influence and getting people to do something that does not conform with their own values, beliefs, and behaviors, on the extent of being influenced by another person or people, isn't that? I mean, manipulation is a lot more intense. It's, abusive. It's more extreme. And then within the lines of that comes the emotional abuse and all that stuff. Emotional, it attacks you emotionally, mentally, all that. But can't we kind of say it's kind of, a form of it? Whew. Be safe out there, y'all. Stay prayed and peace out.